Welcome to the RV Boss. I'm Willie, and in this video, I want to demonstrate how I replaced my Serpentine belt on my Jayco Seneca Super C that sits on a Freightliner M2 106 chassis. I'll share some of the challenges that I faced along the way, and then also give some tips on some of the things that I learned through the experience. So with that, let's check out the video. So this is what it looked like. Basically, just completely ripped the belt from the pulleys and tore it right in half. My vehicle was at 70,000 miles, which is the recommended time for the belt, so it was due for that anyway. So to get started, basically just loosened the two bolts, one at the top and the bottom of either side of the housing, using a 10 millimeter ratchet and socket. And then at that point, once they were removed, I could basically just move back the housing and loosen the air line. Mine was a little bit rusted, so I used some lubricant to loosen it up, and then once it was disconnected, basically just let the air kind of vent out, and grabbed my new belt, and I've got the links in the description for part numbers, but just basically fed it through over the fan and through the housing to the other side around the fan drive, and then obviously looped it through the airline. Once that was done, then just basically reconnected the airline and tightened everything back up again. At that point, it was a matter of just kind of just threading the belt through the pulleys, just ensuring that everything was lined up perfectly on to the pulleys. And then once that was done, I ended up using a Serpentine belt tool that I purchased from Harbor Freight. You can get it online as well. You can also use a 1/2-inch ratchet or breaker bar. So to basically put pressure on the belt tensioner, and then that will allow you enough slack to get the final belt area over the alternator. I'm sorry. So that'll allow you to get some slack to get the belt over the alternator and complete the loop and installation. Here's what it looks like installed, so you get an idea of what the actual pattern is, and then just fired it up and it was ready to go after that. Did an inspection, just basically wanted to make sure everything was running smooth, there wasn't anything offline, and turned out okay. So that's it. It wasn't as hateful as I thought it would be initially. Changing everything out was not as big of a challenge. So there were some challenges, however, one being that obviously when you're on the road, it's a little difficult to have all the tools available and everything needed. And this particular belt was not carried by any of the major auto parts stores. So I ended up purchasing it from the Freightliner dealer closest to me at the time, which was about an hour away. So that can be challenging depending on where the breakdown happens. If you happen to get that ahead of time before it actually breaks, then you're in better shape as far as being able to get access to the actual belt. So tips, I would say going forward, obviously I'm going to carry a spare, so I would recommend that if at all possible. The other tip is that the belt tensioner should be changed at the same time. At least it was recommended to me to change the belt tensioner at the same time as the belt, which I did once I got back home and was able to purchase the belt tensioner. And that was pretty much it. So if you got some value out of this video, please hit the like button and also consider subscribing. I've got a lot of other videos that are similar to this topic, and then also kind of give some information on how I use these RVs to generate income as rentals. Leave a comment down below if you have one, and thanks for watching. Also, all the links are in the description for parts and all the stuff that I use to complete the install. All right, take care.